My postcard today is on the St. John's River in Florida. I'm going to investigate some very strange goings-on at Shell Harbour. Take it away, Blair. The St. John's River has always been a highway for people coming into Florida. In fact, probably the very first interstate highway they had. You know, one of the very first settlers, in fact, the first settler came from Scotland. His name was Peter Buchan. He'd settled in La Grange, Georgia, another country, another state, another colony up the road in the early 1800s. And he came down here having heard of Florida's fabulous wealth and riches. In fact, the riches lay in the fertile soil. So he came down here with all his buddies, and what he decided to do was to set up camp in Florida. So he landed at a place called Palatka and then moved on to a place called Apopka, which is where he settled, that Scottish silversmith called Peter Buchan, all the way from the homeland. You've heard about paddling your own canoe? Thanks, Blair. He's gone to get help because we're stuck on the St. John's River. Now I know how those early pioneer settlers felt, because we're up the creek with a paddle. So what's the story then, Blair? Another battery is coming on its way, and we've got this very nice man to thank. This is very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. Russell Grant.
Marv Blum is my name, sir.
Hello, Marv. You saved us. We have just been floating. We've had a good time, though. We've been talking.
If you'd like to come up and get out of the sun, there's a shaded area over there with a picnic table, and there's a shaded area right over here with a picnic table.
We might well come and do that whilst you're sorting
Yeah,
things
there.
out. Things happen that you're not expecting, like boats that don't work, and strange men who come out of white boats and direct you to picnic tables. What does he mean? What's going to happen at the picnic table? Let's see. Well, I'm here at the picnic table and not much has happened, I'm sad to say, but I have got this little tale for you. You know, you trivial pursuiters out there. This river, St. John's, behind me, of course, was also a very important part of the Confederate armies' chances to supply their own army through the St. John's River. You see, the Union lot, the Yankees, they held that side, the north side. And the only way that the Confederates could get their supplies of cattle, of guns, armaments, that kind of thing, was to come up through the St. John's River. And they used to come through here and basically feed and supply their army without the Union guys knowing. So, there we are, a little bit of trivial pursuit there for you. I'm hearing noises. I think the picnic table is alive. I've answered the SOS call from the community of Shell Harbour here on the St. John's River in Florida. What has been going on? Well, there's a number of witnesses to psychic events in this small community. Over here, the tub of Shell Harbour. There has been some very strange happenings. Laurie's going to tell us all about that. Dust that appears immediately after the whole place has been cleaned. Fingerprints that appear in the dust. Let's go around and see, and look at the rest of the evidence. Shell Harbour Community Centre. Strange forces, strange energies. We have a dowser who's going to show us how these energies change and disappear. And the vortex of whatever is happening here in Shell Harbour. Laurie, tell me what's been going on down here in the old tub.
First incident happened in the dining room. Myself and another girl were cleaning the kitchen, and we had already spent 4 hours in the dining room. It was totally spotless, and I sent the girl in with some different things that we were
laying out for the dinner.
Right.
Yes.
And she hollered to me and wanted to know what I was doing in there, and I said that I hadn't been in there, and she said, somebody's been in here. And there was just you and I couldn't believe it. When I walked in, the chairs were moved in just one area, and there was dust particles all over the table and the floor and on the chairs themselves.
So you just spent all that time, you and your friend,
Right.
doing everything absolutely spotlessly clean, spick and span. You'd just gone into the kitchen, and when you came back out, everything was
Everything
everywhere.
was everywhere.
And dust as well.
And dust.
And you've been polishing and
And
cleaning?
nobody could get in the door. The door was locked.
And we should say that that thunder out there is for real, isn't it?
Yeah, it almost sounds as if she's coming back.
You could be right. Now, this is the room that Laurie was telling us about that was all cleaned up. Her and her friend cleaned it. And then she came back a few minutes later and it was all mucked up. Let's now listen to Blair's story about the air conditioning. Blair, tell us about it.
Well, it was August the 2nd, and I came down approximately 10 o'clock at night to make sure the air conditioner was on because we were having a board meeting the next day. So it was on, I left, I came back the next morning at 8 o'clock, and I came down to check this out, and the air conditioning was turned off. It was warm in here.
And there was no one who could get in here?
Nobody. I had the key in my pocket.
There's also the story of the previous owner who had a piano that was here where we're resting on now.
Yes, and he had a girlfriend that was sent down to clean the piano, and she had cleaned it at the top and was working on the bottom, and when she came back up, there was 2 handprints, just like this, and she started cleaning. This happened 3 times to her.
And so 3 times she cleaned it, 3 times there were handprints in the dust on the top of the piano.
Yes.
Have you ever seen this lady at all?
No, I haven't. But the previous owner said that he saw her sitting at this table over here.
Well, we've heard the stories of both Laurie and Blair. Let's see what psychic goings-on have been happening upstairs. And let's meet Joe. Well, we're here now at Shell Harbour Community Centre. And you're going to meet somebody now. I've told you his name is Joe, but Joe is a dowser. If you've never met one, come inside. Joe, good to meet you.
Hi.
Now, you're going to demonstrate here the fluctuations of psychic energy.
Right.
What are the rods you're holding?
They're strictly little copper rods that we just take in that freezer and just bend them in half so I can hold them like this and not between my fingers where I cannot have any control over them whatsoever. But the energy completely controls the rods.
But they're sympathetic to the energy around here.
Yes.
They will move, will they?
Well, hopefully they will.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Joe, I'm going to leave it up to you. Maybe you can talk us through precisely what's happening and also the legends that are around here in Shell Harbour, too.
About 5,000 years ago, the Palo Indians were in this area, lived in this area. And legend has it that this was their ceremonial grounds. There's approximately 15 acres here where they did a lot of their human sacrifices. And as we walk through here, as you can see, I have had no control. The energy that's coming through and what the local people call a vortex here in the ground, the energy is coming up through the ground that is making these rods move. And as you can see, I've got not moving my hands, not doing nothing with it. Everything that there is going, now sometimes they'll jump right off and come right on my shoulder at me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it just completely, absolutely moves, and there's different spots that'll really make it. See that?
Yeah.
I mean, I am not in no way trying to touch these rods whatsoever.
What do you think it is? What do you think the energy is?
I was told by the people here that in our bodies we're 98% water, 2% energy. And because of the sacrifices and this and that was done in this area, there's a lot of energy coming out of the ground down from the people that were
Passed on.
passed on.
So this is a pretty powerful place, Shell Harbour. We've had the stories of Laurie and Blair and other people, the previous owners.
Yes, yes. I've heard quite a few of the stories. I've been here now approximately about 3 months, and some of the things that have happened here, but there's no way to explain what different phenomena that happen around here. I mean, there's no way to say right or wrong, you know, or why they are the way they are.
Well, believe it or not, it's up to you to come and find out. If you want to pay a visit to Shell Harbour, you can meet all of these people here, whether you're psychic or not, whether you're a believer or a non-believer. Shell Harbour, that's my postcard for this week. And my postcard says, wish you were here.